In a sport where the Olympics is everything, Beijing is a great memory. London is the next stop in 2012, but 3 years away seems like such a long time. The American men can build upon the bronze medal they brought home from China, but they know that every country around the world will build toward the next Olympic showdown with their respective national championships. For the Americans, that means Destination Dallas. NBC Sports presents the 2009 Visa Championships, and we're live at the American Airlines Center where the Junior National Championships are underway on this Saturday. NBC Sports looking forward to the women's competition in prime time tonight, beginning at 8 Eastern Time. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Olympic gold medalist Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. Of course, for the next hour, we'll be recapping what happened last night in the conclusion of the men's national championship. Later, to preview tonight's women's competition, the reigning Olympic gold medalist Nastia Liukin will join us, and we'll get set to see her at the bottom of the hour. Now, Tim Daggett, in 2009, what does a national championship mean?
Well, you know, I think what it means is best personified by Jonathan Horton's career. As a gymnast, you got to do a bunch of different things. You want to make a world championship team. Check for Jonathan. You want to win an American Cup. He's done that. Obviously, you got to go to the Olympic Games. He did that, got a silver and a bronze. But you need to be the national all-around champion. Jonathan told us it is ridiculous that I don't have that title. It's a big one for him. But you also have a whole different group of athletes, the next generation, the dreamers, the ones that have been training their whole lives for their first shot. They're here too. And
they're thinking about London, but not necessarily 2012 just yet. They're thinking in a couple of months for the World Championships. What does this event mean for that?
Well, 2012 and the World Championships in London is the bigger picture for this year anyway. And for these athletes here in Dallas, this is where it all starts. Many have to impress because many want to be part of that World Championship team in London. So it starts right here, right now at the National Championships.
Now, gymnastics can be a very cruel sport. Just ask David Sender. He knows what it's like to win a national championship, and he also knows what it's like to have his dreams crushed about a year ago.
Yeah, you know, I still can't get over it. It was such a fluke, and you know, when a fluke turns into a disaster, it's such a travesty. He was just jumping. Look at, a lot of people think he got hurt there, off of it, but that's not what happened. He jumped up to still the bar. As he came down, rolled his ankle, and a dream of a lifetime right there, right then, over.
So the Olympics are lost. He now is looking forward to becoming a veterinarian. This is his final gymnastics competition. How was he in his big farewell in night one, Elfie?
Al, he was fantastic. You know, David told me that when he came to these championships and he had finally made the decision to go back to school, it really took all the pressure off of him. He was here simply to have fun and to go out with a bang.
He had, in Tim Daggett's words, a worthy gold medal vault in night one. He should have been very confident in last night's night two. Here's how John Roethlisberger, Tim and Elfie called it on Universal Sports.
So he'll do a round off, which is he'll turn his body around onto the vaulting board, and then he will jettison his body 2.5 times around and somehow find the ground.
Oh. And that is going to leave a little sting in that taped ankle. I don't think any tape is going to keep that from hurting a little bit.
That's an ouch.
That is such, and he is, as you can see, walking very gingerly. He was supposed to actually do a second vault to get some bonus, but
not happening tonight.
No, that is really, and it didn't even look bad, right? It didn't even look like.
It looked good in the air.
Yeah, but
he came in like a lawn chart. I mean, he stuck into that mat. That was
just kind of opened up a little bit too soon. So let's take a look here. Let's watch his head right as his arms contact the table. Does it go back? No, he does it well. He just opens up a little bit too early, and that right there will cost him 1 point in deductions for that landing, and he'll lose a boatload of bonus.
Yikes.
A little crooked there too, it looks like.
1/10 of a point for that foot landing outside the white line.
15.6, Tim. That's certainly a lot lower than he got night one.
So a 17 became a 15.6, and the farewell to gymnastics slightly askew for David Sender. More on him in a few minutes. Now let's turn things over to Jonathan Horton, trying to win his first ever national championship. Going on to the still rings, his lead after the first day of competition was 0.6.
I tell you what, Jonathan Horton, we're looking at him getting ready for rings. And here we are in an arena where you see professional basketball players, professional hockey players. And if this guy, pound for pound, was as strong as he is now, and 6'6", he would be a specimen. I mean, look at him, he's unbelievable.
And you know, he said the other night in day one of the competition, this ring routine couldn't have been any better. And the other thing that he said is, it is ridiculous that Jonathan Horton has not won a national title. I want it.
Actually has upgraded his difficulty on this exercise since the Olympic Games, made it a little bit harder, a little bit longer. You know, he had such a great night one, the fall on the pommel horse, but he told me in this point right here, in this cross, day one, he wanted someone to shoot him, just kill me, because I was so tired. I didn't even think that I could possibly finish the routine.
He looked strong.
Pulled out a 15.8 in day one.
Little bit short on that giant, but another rock solid, big ring routine from John Horton.
So with David Sender's stumbles and Jonathan Horton's performance, his lead was 0.85 going into the second rotation. I always love it, Elfie, when an athlete has enough nerve and self-confidence to say, I want to win this.
Yeah, well, Jonathan was saying that all week long in the practice sessions. Like he said, he couldn't believe he hadn't won a national title yet. He really came into this championship totally fired up.
Well, Tim, that's the story of just two men. Of course, this is a much bigger competition, and when we come back, we'll see one man fighting for a spot on that World Championship picture.
Yeah, like I said, the next generation, it's a guy named Tim McNeil.
So that's the story after the first rotation. We are watching the Junior National Championship here live at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Our coverage of the Men's Visa National Championship continues in a moment, and they're brought to you in part by Visa. More people go with Visa. By AT&T. Your world delivered. By Franklin Templeton Investments, gained from our perspective. And by ADT Security Services, always there. We're back live deep in the heart of Texas. This is the 2009 Visa Championships on NBC Sports. You're looking at the Junior National Championships, and the odds are pretty good that we're going to see one of these young women on the sport's greatest stage in London in 2012. But we have to get back now to the national championships last night for the men. Again, it was John Roethlisberger with Tim and Elfie on Universal Sports, and a very big night for American Tim McNeil.
So here we go, and he will start with a scissor element and then do just a crazy hard skill right off the bat. It's a full spin. Very well done. Now he'll do, these are all called flops, and he is a little bit off. Nothing disastrous, but definitely jittery. No question about it. He's great on horse.
And this is one of the events that he should be able to show off for the U.S. because they are weak as a team on pommel horse. They need guys like this.
Well, it's going to be a gigantic number for Tim McNeil. Gigantic number.
McNeil just graduating UC Berkeley, making a statement he would finish on the podium in second place here at the end of the national championship. Now let's go back to the earlier story for Jonathan Horton. In the second rotation, he was trying to simply cement his first national championship with clean performances. Here he was on the vault.
The best vault I've ever seen from Jonathan Horton. This vault was at the Olympic Games where he stuck it cold.
good ball.
Looked a little awkward on that landing, almost landed a little stiff-legged.
He did. Actually, I know what Elfie was saying. She said that the Olympic Games was the best one. Technically, I thought...
You guys work.
Technically...
You thought it was day one.
The best vault I ever saw him do was night one because he had tremendous block off of the table. He'll flip his body 3 times around and somehow find the ground. And like you said, John, little bit locked, not scary locked, but...
Hate to burst your bubble, but he agreed with me on the Olympic vault, by the way. He thought that was the best one.
This seems like it's become automatic for him, though. I mean, when's he going to add a twist?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's getting a lot better on these landings, that's for sure.
Nailed, like I felt like feet hit straddling.
Another great score for Jonathan Horton, 16.3. His lead continued to grow as we go back to the story of David Sender in the last night of his gymnastics career. It started with a stumble on the vaults, and unfortunately, Tim and Elfie, it continued on the parallel bars, and he suddenly became one of the more compelling figures here at the American Airlines Center. This is what happened, and it happened quickly.
Yeah, you know, and I knew it was either going to be really good or really bad, and unfortunately, it didn't go well at all. He's doing a relatively new mount, and it's a little bit tricky. He actually will face sideways, and you have to finish this right in a handstand. If you're a little bit off, you're in big trouble. And there's nothing little about this here. It was way off.
And the unfortunate thing is David came here so well prepared, so fired up to win a second title, and it starts like this on this event, and it just kept getting worse.
And Tim, I'm pointing to my head. It really had to feel at that point like it was something up here.
Yeah, you know, I mean, when you come right down to it, you just can't imagine knowing that this is going to be the last time that you're going to do something that you have loved doing more than anything in your entire life.
It is overwhelming if you think about it for a moment. So few people really have that moment, Elfie, to do something they love and know that it's the last time. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's such a classy athlete, and for David Sender, when he walked in this arena, especially on that second night, I could see his eyes wandering around, almost digesting and absorbing everything that was about to come to an end.
And so after the second rotation, Jonathan Horton's lead was almost 4 points. When we come back to Dallas, Texas, here with the 2009 Visa National Championships, we meet the Leyva family and find out how excited sometimes becomes maybe too excited. Back live in Dallas, Texas, you're looking at Jonathan Horton watching the Junior National Championship and these Visa Championships here at the American Airlines Center. Last night, he had a big lead as he prepared to mount the parallel bars.
John has always been a guy that's been a trickster, able to do things like that. And he says he doesn't really want to be a gymnast like that.
But this was an event he was really disappointed with in the first day of competition. He said, I was way too sloppy on this. Need to relax.
Scored a 15.2 day one on the parallel bars.
He stays on his feet. Obviously not a great landing, but Jonathan Horton is going to have big falls for anybody to catch him at this point.
Quiet confidence of Jonathan Horton recorded a 14.9. Now back to the story of another gymnast hoping to make the World Championship team in October for London. That would be Danelle Leyva, who's the son of 2 gymnasts and is coached by his father, Yin. One of the things that we saw is the tremendous emotion that his father brings to every performance. Let's watch the one that unfolded last night that was important for his son.
Come on, Donnie.
Watch his coach and dad in the side of your picture. He lives this routine.
He's doing it with them.
Even the easy moves, like that's a simple move. So's that one. Calm down, Yen. Oh, that was beautiful. Wow. My question is, who burns more calories at a meet?
I don't think there's any question about that. The dad, for sure.
I'd like him by my side if I ever decide to run a marathon.
That was great to see. Of course, on a world stage, that might be too much. Meanwhile, as the night continued last night, we tried to see if somehow David Sender could prevent the wheels from completely coming off his farewell gymnastics performance.
And it started good. It really did. He has a very nice beginning. Gets through what is his most difficult release. Gonna come up right here. And not just okay, but very nice. But look out, right here. Not a chance.
I think at that point, the obvious emotion for everybody had to be sympathy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that he was going out in such a way. I just felt so badly for him. Actually, after the competition, I was able to go up to him and talk to him and say, you know, you're going to feel really lousy for a long, long time, but someday you'll get a smile back on your face and warmness back in your heart about this sport.
Meanwhile, Elfie, Jonathan Horton could fall, then maybe fall, and then maybe fall again and still win the national championship.
Yeah, and Jonathan Horton is the type of athlete, he was still looking up on that scoreboard just to make sure, but he could. He had a huge cushion, but nothing was going to stop him from winning that first national championship, and he was going out in style. He really wanted to put together Beijing-style routines.
Speaking of Beijing, it would be hard for me to believe that any member of that bronze medal winning team could look at their medal in the future and not see a memory of Jonathan Horton doing something great, which he tried to duplicate last night in Texas. NBC Sports coverage of the 2009 Visa Championships continues just as it did last night on Universal Sports, when with a huge lead of almost 4 points, Jonathan Horton mounted the high bar. This is an event which he rocked in Beijing en route to the team bronze medal. Meanwhile, Horton was being watched by John Roethlisberger, Tim Daggett, and Elfie Schlegel.
And here's where it all gets wild. Beautiful. One more. Nice and easy.
All right, come on now. Good job. Come on, finish up. Come on. There you go, baby.
I'll tell you what, he's the man.
That was right there, dude. Good job.
Jonathan Horton, a star last night, winning his first national championship by 3.4 points. He joins us now at the American Airlines Center. And Jonathan, what does it feel like to have security necessary to prevent all the autograph seekers here in the arena?
Well, it's great. You know, it's something I've worked for so long. I've always wanted to be able to call myself national champion, and it's taken a lot of hard work. And you know, it's been a crazy summer after the Olympics, and I'm just super excited to be able to come here, especially in Texas, since it's my home state, and just have a great competition, put on a good show.
Jonathan, you had such a huge cushion in the other night's competition. What was going through your mind as you went through each of the events?
Really just to kind of just not let it even get to my head. It's like, okay, one event after another. My coach Tom kept telling me, all right, next event, let's start over. Let's treat this like it's the first one. And so, you know, regardless of the cushion that I built, I wasn't thinking about it. I knew exactly where I was in the standings, though, just because I always look at the scoreboard. But, you know, I always tell myself baby steps, you know. The meet's not over till it's over. And I just wanted to, you know, put on a good performance and, you know, compete well to the last event.
But, you know, John, I knew certainly after you landed your high bar, caught all those releases, that you were going to be the national all-around champion. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Wow, come on.
Okay, maybe I'm a little pessimistic here, but I'm always like, okay, if you start thinking like that, something really bad's gonna happen. You're gonna bomb somewhere. So, you know, I tried to stay very calm, very mellow throughout the competition. And you know, even on my last event, I had a terrible mistake on pommel horse, which I kind of expected a little bit, just because I've been having such a rough time there. But you know, I try to stay very relaxed. I'm a different competitor than I used to be when I was younger.
Jonathan, I think Tim said yesterday that was good, but it wasn't Beijing. How special was what you did on the high bar in Beijing in such a critical moment?
That was a moment that I have a hard time describing to people. You know, I remember raising my hand right there and looking at the bar, and believe it or not, I was probably more nervous last night about doing high bar than I was there, because at that moment I was like, man, I got nothing to lose. I'm out here, I'm having a great time, I'm about to throw the craziest, hardest routine of my life, and I just kind of cut loose and let it go. And you know, as I got rolling, I don't know what happened. Right now I can't even remember the routine in my head. I'm like, I don't remember doing that. It happened so fast. And
I get chills remembering the moment. What about you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you know, I remember as this routine finishes, I was just like, what happened? I hit the ground. I was so excited, and it was just undescribable moment. It was amazing.
All you had left was a heck of a lot, because you're going to do a triple twisting double layout here.
And to be honest with you right there, I'm always tired at the end of my high bar routine. I wasn't even a little tired there. I was so amped up and I was like, all right, stick this. Unfortunately, I took a step. But
hey, what did your dad say about that step?
My dad always says that's the $1 million step right there. But who knows? I'm so motivated and driven by everything from that Olympic Games, and that's why I'm still going.
And quickly, Jonathan, what about pommel horse? Because you're heading to the World Championships, you're going for the all-around. So what about that apparatus?
Well, you know, really, I just have to get back in the gym and do a lot more repetitions on that event. And believe it or not, regardless of what I did the other night, my pommel horse has actually gotten a lot better. I'm able to swing much more relaxed, and I just need to find a routine that works for me and get comfortable in the event, because before I do my routine, especially in a competition like this, I get pretty nervous.
All right, Jonathan, you're joining some select company, of course, including the man to my right, 1984, 25 years ago. Let's roll in that grainy footage. It may even be black and white of Tim Daggett and company en route to a gold medal in Los Angeles. Tell me about that kid.
Oh my God, it seems so long ago, but what a feeling to represent the United States of America. You put your hand over your heart, and it happens automatically. A dream come true. Actually, I want to shout out to the guy that hugged me at the end of that routine. That was A.B. Grossfeld. He was just inducted into the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. Very well deserved.
Jonathan, congratulations. That was fun to watch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Jonathan Horton setting the American standard in men's gymnastics. Last night, he is the 2009 Visa National Championship winner. Our coverage will continue after this. Nastia Lukin, the reigning Olympic gold medalist, on the left with Peter Vidmar, Tim Daggett's teammate from '84, and of course the one and only Bella Caroli. Our coverage of the 2009 Visa Championships will continue. The women live tonight in primetime. Meanwhile, we take you now to one of the most historic sites in all of sport, the Olympic Stadion in Berlin, the site of the Track and Field World Championships. Here's Tom Hammond and Dwight Stones. Okay, Tom, that's our ongoing coverage here on NBC of the World Track and Field Championships. Back now live with you in Dallas, the Junior National Championships currently underway. The women again tonight beginning at 8 Eastern Time. But as far as the men and their wrap-up night last night, we go back to David Sender, where everyone wondered if the sport of gymnastics would be kind enough to give him one last positive memory before he said goodbye to the sport. In the end, the sport made it easy to walk away. Here he was on the floor.
This is a fabulous routine.
We remember seeing him sting his ankles on vault. Do you think he's still feeling that?
And right there, that really looks like he definitely does feel it. And right there was an omission. He was supposed to do a third rebounding element. And he just, yeah. You know what, when you hurt your feet like that, like I said, and then you have a bad landing, you can't generate the power. That's, wow.
Gosh, he still has another one left too.
I would have opted not to do that pass, because it's one thing to jam your ankle, but if you can't generate the power to get a rolling or dive skill around, that is bad news. There's another one.
Oh, goodness.
He just seems like he's beating himself up tonight.
Well,
come on, get it on your
and
feet.
this is hard right here. Good decision, very good decision. He was supposed to do a much more difficult dismount, and it would have been bad if he had tried.
Just never felt right for David Sender. An injured ankle, a fractured brain. Who knows what he was thinking? But his night still was not done. There was a chance to rescue something on the rings.
The whole deal is going to come down. Does he have the endurance to get all the way through?
Come on, Dave, finish it, man. Let's go. Good pull.
Okay, good job. Way to finish on that one, all right?
And that wave from the podium will be the last one that you see from David Sender.
And I'll tell you, I remember this. Every athlete does. I'm sure you do, John. That last routine that you do, you know that you've defined yourself as a gymnast your whole life. Somebody says, who are you? I'm a gymnast. And that's the last time he's going to do it.
David, not exactly the magical storybook ending maybe you were hoping for. Any way to put into words your emotions right now, your last competition and the way things went?
Absolutely not. I mean, obviously today didn't really go the way I had hoped it would, but I mean, it's still going to be a day that I'll remember for the rest of my life. This was a great competition to be able to actually watch the other guys and see kind of the talent that's coming up after me. It's really great to see, and I mean, I'm really going to miss it more than I can express in any words.
You wanted to go out on a high note. What happened out there? Did the emotions of the night get to you?
I think that was part of it. I mean, in the end, I still should have been able to get the job done, but I had this sudden realization, right, as we were walking out for the march out stuff, that kind of looking around that this is the last time I'm doing this. And I mean, maybe I got hung up on a little bit. Maybe I was just a little too tired today. I don't know what happened, but it happens sometimes like this. Sometimes things just don't go the way you want to, and you learn to live with it and move on.
After the floor, you were lying down on the floor. You almost looked like you were in shock, but I'm sure that your career at that moment wasn't flashing through your head. But what is going through your mind right now in terms of what you're going to miss the most?
It's this kind of stuff. It's the competitions that I really, really enjoy. The adrenaline rush of being out here competing against all the other guys, the thrill of not really quite knowing what's going to happen. You don't really get that at any other point in your life. There's nothing else where you're going to get this sort of thrill, this sort of excitement that's, getting so high just on doing what you're doing.
Did you sense that every single person in this building wanted something great for you tonight?
It did feel like it at sometimes. I could hear the crowd kind of after each event when I was struggling each time. And it felt great to know that at least a good majority of people were kind of behind my back and at least still enjoying watching me, even though I was having one of the worst meets of my life.
Well, you finished on rings, and that was actually your best event of the night. Your thoughts, you were smiling when you were done.
At that point, it really just didn't matter anymore. Obviously, I was so far behind, it didn't matter how the scores went. I did just want to finish kind of on, the highest note I could. And rings is a great event for me all the time, and to actually be able to pull it off after, kind of everything else that happened today and feeling so exhausted by the end it was really a great feeling, and just kind of the pressure of the entire night was instantly gone. As soon as I landed that dismount, it was just, that's it, I'm leaving it all.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck in vet school, and it's been a lot of fun to watch you.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Very classy. He can take care of my dog any day. Elfie, when he dismounted, no one would have blamed him had he just landed and walked out the door.
Regardless of what happened to David Sender on that night too, I mean, David has many fans in the gymnastic world. He has given so much to USA Gymnastics. Let's not forget, he won the 2008 national championship title. He has a lot to be proud of, and I wish him all the best in his new career.
Again, just imagine doing something that you really love, something you've thrown your life into, and then thinking that it's the last one, and apparently that's what got him. He was lost when he walked into the room.
Yeah, not just thinking, knowing. This is it. This is the last time I'm ever going to feel this. And you said this to me earlier, that moments like this make the toughest men in the world cry. And I'll tell you, I feel for him so much, and once again, I know at some point he's going to come to terms with this. He's going to look back and he's going to remember all of the tremendous accomplishments that he has had, and he's going to be happy again.
And it only really adds to what Jonathan Horton accomplished in winning the national championship, because he maintained his focus while this amazing story of David Sender was going on right next to him. When we come back, a preview of what comes your way tonight at 8 Eastern Time. The reigning Olympic gold medalist Nastia Liukin joins us live and talks about what's happened for her so far here in Texas. The Visa Championships are brought to you by Visa. More people go with Visa. By AT&T, your world delivered. And by U.S. Bank. Since 1863, the dreams of millions have taken off with us, U.S. Bank. Last we saw her, Nastia Liukin became tied with Shannon Miller as the most decorated gymnasts in American Olympic history. She was the Olympic all-around gold medalist on foreign soil. To think that an American went to China with all their power and was able to leave the country with that gold medal is truly remarkable. And she joins us now live here in Dallas, Texas. How hard was it for you, Nastia, to refocus to this sport after having such a great moment?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I had to set new goals for myself and figure out what I really wanted to do, but gymnastics is something that I have a huge passion for, and I did set new goals for myself, so I'm excited to be here, especially with it being my hometown.
But, I mean, there have been so many other champions that have won, Carly Patterson, Mary Lou Retton, and they didn't do it. They didn't come back because it's so hard. But how are you doing it? How are you pulling it off?
I mean, I definitely, with the help with my parents, my dad being my coach, I mean, he has done so much for me, obviously. He's made me become the Olympic champion. So I trust him 100%, and I know that if I tell him that I want to keep going, he's there behind me 100%. And
you're still talking, the two of you, right?
We are, yes. I mean, it's been a long journey, ups and downs, injuries, struggles, tears, and pain. But just watching that video, seeing me get my gold medal was nothing can compare to that.
Well, we've got some other video that's really cool. You talk about coming from Texas, just like Carly, in the same gym. It's a real real dream now for these girls here who are watching you perform. Who knows where they're going to be in London, but watch the faces of these girls watching you perform here the other night in night one. Check it out. Watch the girl, especially on the right. She's going to go right about here.
She's thinking, I wonder if she can teach me that.
What about the role model aspect of having someone from your gym in the competition tonight and being in this room filled with gymnasts who can have this dream now and think, yeah, I can do that. I'm from here just like she is.
I am so excited for Rebecca and Ivana, both. You know, they're first and second going into tonight, and I mean, I feel pressure, you know, competing out here in front of my home crowd, so I'm sure that they do too, but it has to be so exciting for them to come in the year after the Olympics, especially with what our accomplishments have been at Wolga with me and Carly, and, you know, just coming back out there in 2009, and it's a new quadrennium, and it's their time now, and their time to shine, so I'm very excited. I'm cheering them on all the way.
And Nastia, on night one, you not only had the pressure of competing for yourself here on the one event that you chose, balance beam, but with Rebecca, who had just had a really tough landing on balance beam, and we saw you up on the podium before the floor exercise. What was it that you were trying to say to her?
Well, she said she kind of jammed her toe a little bit, and so, you know, I was just telling her just to forget about it and move on because there's nothing she can do, and she's worked so hard for this moment, and that's all that she could do was to go out there and perform her very best routine.
You know, Nastia, we've been watching you on the uneven bars, and you're obviously training for a lot more than just balance beam. Why did you decide to just do beam here?
Well, just because bars has always been my best event, and I feel like I didn't want to go out there just to perform and just kind of throw out a routine. You know, I could have gone and competed, probably wouldn't have done my best routine, and that's just not the kind of competitor I am, is to just throw something just because I had to. And I feel like I am on the right path, you know, gearing up towards Worlds. I still have a few months, so I'm on the right direction. But yeah, I just chose to do beam here just to, I still want to compete, you know, so it takes.
And Nastia, what were you feeling? Because this was very different from a few weeks ago when you were at the Classic. This was now back in an arena on podium. What was going through your mind?
A little bit more nerve-wracking because it was on a podium. You know, my first time back on podium since the Olympics. So, and just the audience around me, I can hear all the kids screaming, and so I was very nervous, as you can tell. You know, I had a few bobbles and it was a little shaky, but I hope tonight that I can go out there and just be a little bit more confident and trust myself more. And it just takes time to get back into the rhythm of things and, you know, to get that competition feeling back inside.
So when you win an Olympic gold medal, people like me say, you know, it's going to change your life. What really did change for you because of what happened in Beijing?
Everything. You know, from the beginning, just, I guess, not being home as much, not seeing my friends and family, and just traveling all over the world, but at the same time being able to experience so many amazing things and meet so many cool people. Just having so many different opportunities that I would have never imagined. If it weren't for that gold medal, I still, you know, wouldn't have been able to do that.
Nervous for tonight?
Yes, I am. You know, I'm the kind of person that just wants to go out there and do the best I can and just put on a good performance for everyone, and including all these people out here watching, and for myself too. So. Well,
join us tonight live beginning at 8 Eastern time to see what a nervous Nastia Lukin looks like here in Dallas, Texas. Congratulations to Jonathan Horton. For the first time, he is the Visa National Champion. And tonight again at 8 Eastern time, we'll see what happens in the Women's Visa Championship. Up next, don't miss the all-flying action from the Ally Do Tour. It's the Wendy's Invitational next on NBC. For Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, John Roethlisberger, and Andrea Joyce, this is Al Troutwig. Good night from the Lone Star State.